So I'm Andrew Gibbons. I'm always Andrew Gibbons, and Jacky Leonard is with me today. Jacky, we used to do a lot more of this, and we should do more still, but we might find that that's not a great idea after this. Of course it will be. So Jacky, you've got a big issue for us today, but it's not about housing. Tell us a bit about who you are quickly, and then get straight into this because it's a big one.
Okay, so I'm Jacky Leonard. I'm a freelance learning and development consultant. JL Consulting, that's sort of my brand, which leads us, I suppose, nice link onto what we're coming on to. I work cross-sector and currently have a contract with Bangor University working on their leadership programs. I think that's enough about me for now, isn't it?
Oh, it certainly is. Right, tell us what you want to tell us about branding and personal branding. I've got some thoughts on what that means. I'm probably wrong. Put me right.
Well, I wrote a book a few years ago called Delivering Authentic Customer Experiences. As part of that, I had a section of it called Brand You. And I think when you, certainly if you're a freelancer or you're in a small business environment, aligning your personal and organizational values is essential for that business. So, your brand is influenced by your values, and I suppose it forms the basis of the company culture. So you can't ignore it. We've all these days, I think, got a brand. It's not a logo on a T-shirt. It's about who we are and what we're about, what the business is about.
Okay, that's already got me thinking more than I want to, because we try and keep this tight on time. So what I'm picking up already is kind of what I'd say I know, I've been thinking about, not more than that. I guess, yes, we all have a brand, and it's not always the brand we think it is. What we project to others might not be what we think we're projecting. There's something in there, I think. Values, and that comes into values. Maybe we're saying, hey, these wonderful things, well, and then you're not. Or maybe we're not promoting ourselves in a way that we could. So there's quite a bit here, isn't there?
Yeah, and I think that's absolutely right. And I think it's becoming more important because it seems that more these successful businesses are becoming more relational. That sort of the transactional bit isn't working so well for people anymore. People don't want to be treated like a number. They want to be treated like a person, and they want to interact with people that are like them, or people that they want to be like. So I think that you will align yourself better with the right clients or the right customers if you are just being an authentic you. So that for me is brand you.
Yeah, you're pinching on my words here. The third one that I just scribbled was authenticity. Yeah, I get what you're saying about relationship. When I ring up an organization, or when I ring up an organization helpline, whatever, as a customer, the first thing they say to me is, "What's your customer number?" I say, "My name's Andrew Gibbons."
Yeah.
And I think, well, come on, I know you've got umpteen million customers, but you could make more of an effort. It could be in there to say we recognise you as an individual rather than a number on our database.
Yeah, for those those people who are watching are old enough, remember The Prisoner. I'm not a number. I am a free man. Yeah.
Was he number 6? I can't remember. Patrick McGowan.
Number 6. Yeah, pretty local to me, Port Marion.
I was going to say, not too far from you. Hard place to get to for another time. So brand you. So you mentioned authenticity. I was going to. You got there first. Explore that a bit more.
So I guess it's about being willing to hold the metaphorical mirror up to yourself and to accept. So there's an element of reflection, which is, again, for another day, Andrew.
Yeah.
But there's also the accepting, because you mentioned it earlier, what we think we might be putting out there might not actually be what other people are seeing. So I think there's also an element of accepting graciously feedback that's given to us, whether that's from peers, colleagues, clients, however it's delivered, and you even if you don't agree with it, to accept it, that actually sometimes our customers' perception become our reality, doesn't it? So I think that.
Oh, you're pinching all my favourite phrases here. So let's get to the fundamentals. Why is it important to have a brand?
I think it's more important to know what the values behind the brand stand for. That's what,
hence authenticity. Yeah,
that's what branding means to me.
Okay.
It's a way of explaining to the client or the customer what you're all about. So, you know, what you stand for, what's important to you. And I think that's becoming more relevant now. That people are looking to align themselves with organizations that share their values.
Okay, so if you're projecting a brand, I guess, and I'm thinking live here, so I don't quite know what I'm about to say, big surprise. If you're projecting a brand, you've got to live up to that. You've got to be consistent about it. To me, a brand is about saying, hey, if I buy a bar of chocolate with this on the front, I know what it's going to taste like. If I don't know, if I buy a different bar of chocolate, because I can't think very clearly today, then it will taste like this. So it's about expectations being met. Is that right?
Yeah, and I use a sentence that, and I'll read it for you. It says that for me, a brand is consistent, compelling, and congruent with who you are, what you're offering, and how you want to do business. And I think those three words for me encapsulate what a brand should be. You're right, the consistency word is got to be in there, isn't it? Because when customers come and find us, purchase from us, they want to absolutely know that they're going to be getting a service that's going to be not the same, but is going to align with what we've told them. Yeah. So any message that we put out there, you know, whether it's like this, we're on camera here, or whether it's a written message, or that whatever we say we're going to deliver, that's what they get.
Okay, and we don't rehearse this, doesn't it show? But when we spoke about broadly what we'd cover last week, we found ourselves talking about, for instance, musicians. And that a brand doesn't have to be static. It doesn't have to be something which is not dynamic. And I was bringing up certain musical artists who were very innovative, that were doing very different things from one period in their career to another. So a brand doesn't have to be static, rigid, immovable. It can be dynamic and innovative.
Well, and isn't that just how human beings are?
Some.
Yeah, you know, we're not static, as people, are we? And I think we will develop, we will grow. You know, some of us kicking and screaming, granted, but generally people will change over time for a variety of different reasons. So I think that's absolutely quite right. That is just adapting.
Yeah, adapting, that's a good word. So a brand can be evolving, adapting, changing. And the expectation could be that is the brand, that this is someone who's going to do these weird things and whatever. So, all right. So if you haven't got a brand, you're losing out.
I don't think, I would argue that we've all got a brand. I mean, whether you like it or not, you know, you're going to associate things with you or about you.
Yeah.
As soon as we meet someone, people will form an impression of us.
Yeah.
What they see, what they hear, the experience they get from us. So whether you believe you've got a brand or not, you have. People are associating values with every experience they're getting from you.
So, all right.
You may as well manage it, mightn't you? You may as well accept it and go.
No, okay. I get that, because I mean, I'm a vocationist more than I am a marketeer, and so a little bit of me kicks against this sort of stuff and says, "Oh dear, you know, I don't want to be going out there saying I'm this and that and all this sort of thing. I just want people to say, hey, he's all right. I'll come to him." But that's kind of your branding, isn't it? It's about saying, this is where I position myself. I'm not this, and I am this.
Yeah. So you've done it, haven't you? You've done it. By resisting it, you're still doing it. So
the accidental brander. Because of course, when we go back to branding, if we're going right to fundamentals, is the word really what the Wild West used to put onto cattle? And the brand becomes, this is who you are, this is who you belong to. I'm trying to form associations there. Is that the origins of it?
Well, I guess it is, yeah. So I don't have my logo branded on my backside and as in the bump of a cow. But I guess that's what it is.
Because what a brand then becomes, oh dear, we go. These are like stakeholders. That was about gold staking, that sort of stuff. This is my state. This does not get into the Wild West historical element of this. But I suppose what that means to me is once you've got that indelible branding, that becomes, well, immovably who you are and your association to something else. Are you an owner?
And that's why, I contend you have to be real, don't you? Because it's tough. It's tough trying to pretend to be something that you're not.
Sure.
Oh, yeah. If you go out there, especially if you're a small business or you're a freelancer, you'll get caught out really quickly.
Mm.
You are trying to be something you're not because you won't be able to be consistent in what you're delivering. So I think it is about doing a bit of homework, isn't it? Finding out what you're comfortable with.
Yeah.
What it is, what's your purpose, what are your principles, what are your values, are they aligned with who you are and what you want?
And are they what people will want? Because after all, we're talking commercially here. It's all very well saying, hey, look, I'm this and this, and people say, well, I'm not interested. You've got to be, if your focus is to project commercially, you've got to be aligning yourself with what people you want to associate with commercially want to see.
And I think there's a market out there for everybody, Andrew. So I think you just think what happens when you you more clearly identify this, then you can more clearly identify who your market is, rather than doing a scattergun approach.
Yeah.
Saying, oh yes, I'm all things to all people. Well, no, you're not.
Actually, I think that's important enough to stay on for a minute. I know we're not going to go on for too long. We could, but we're not going to. And I think the scattergun approach, the differentiation approach, I think one of the things that particularly sole traders in any shape or form, here we're talking about learning development industry, which I don't like to use the word, the temptation sometimes is to say, yeah, I do everything for everyone in every context. And having that comfort with saying, hey, this is my space. This is what I do, and I don't do that, and I don't do that, but I do this. And I think for me, branding's partly about deciding what you don't do in the space you've chosen.
Yeah, and what doesn't stop you from doing those other things if people want them from you, but I think that sort of niching down and accepting that, this is what I'm good at, or this is where I can make money, whichever it is, and really working at that is going to give you more success than going, as a scattergun. Yeah, sure.
So, okay, as we conclude, which is the cue for so nearly finished, give us the takeaways for anyone who's thinking about their personal branding in perhaps a particularly conscious way. What is the one line advices? How many? 15, 22? Where you come up with? What should anyone thinking about their personal branding be doing about it?
So I think for me, the first thing is be real. Yeah. So, and check in on yourself. Go out and ask people what they think, because what you think might not be true.
Sure.
And I found it very difficult to self-promote. And I went out, that was the first thing I did, is go out and ask people I trusted.
So that requires humility. So have the humility to do a bit of a reality check. Am I who people think I am?
Yeah, absolutely. Because there's certain things that you'll be able to manage, and then there's an influence.
Sure.
About how people think about you. But you won't be able to control everything.
All right, I'm moving you back to, we are concluding. So reality check. What else do you think is high on the priority list for someone who's thinking about their personal branding?
I think then I'll go back to the consistent, compelling, and congruent.
Right.
Yeah, consistent, compelling, and congruent with who you are. So find out who you are.
Yeah.
What you're offering.
Yeah.
Service offering to your client, your customer, and then how you actually want to do business with people.
And I think that sounds like a concluding comment. Thank you very much.